Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kim Santos if you're new, or if you're not new, hey, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back. Today I'm finally uploading my Jaclyn Hill highlighter review. So I think this video is going to be pretty juicy, especially that we're talking about the new highlighters, and this is kind of her comeback from her last lipstick release. Some may call lipstick gate with all the problems she was having with her lipsticks, but anyways, you know, I believe in second chances. I totally get if other people don't, but I really did have an interest in her collection and I wanted to purchase it to review it for you guys. So before I get into this review, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button. And as well, I'm hosting my Christmas giveaway. So I'll have that video linked in the description. I'm giving away 3 Clarisonics, 2 on YouTube and 1 on Instagram. So if you haven't seen that, go check it out and you can enter into that giveaway. Anyways, let's get into this Jaclyn Hill highlighter review. So like I said in my introduction, this is Jaclyn Hill's latest release of her makeup line. Her previous one, her first one, was her lipsticks that came out. Actually, they were released on my birthday and I was so excited. I was so pumped to get them. I'm like, it's meant to be. The colors look so great. The formula looked cool too. And I was just really intrigued to get them. So I was gonna get a couple of them and then review them for YouTube because obviously I justify all my purchases with reviewing it on YouTube for you guys. So I went to go buy them. And of course, it was sold out. Couldn't get through. I was on the website at that same time. Couldn't get anything. Oh well. Little did I know, that was God's way of giving me a blessing and saying I got your back, because honestly, her lipstick launch was a disaster. Her lipsticks had all these little balls in it. It kind of looked like mold, and then there was hairs, and then also there was metal shards in some people's lipsticks. So there's a lot of speculation on what was going on. She said it was white gloves in the laboratory. Some people believe that, a lot don't actually. But it was a big mess, and some people weren't getting their refunds. It just, yeah. It was messy. So a lot of people kind of canceled the brand. They did not want to purchase any more of her products, and I totally get that. You know, probably if I got her lipsticks the first round, and obviously I would have experienced that, I wouldn't be here doing this review. I can't really say this because I'm doing the opposite, but support people with your dollar. Clearly, you know, I have a YouTube channel. I like to review things and give you my honest opinions, and I definitely have some opinions about these products. But besides that, as consumers, we have to show brands with our dollar. That's where you're gonna hit them. You're gonna hit them in the money bank. You're not gonna hit them with posting rude shit on social media. You might. Actually, it's a pretty big thing. But realistically, hit them in the wallet where it hurts. So if you don't want to support certain influencers or certain brands, don't buy their products or don't even give them the time of the day, you know? And that's why I totally understand a lot of people not purchasing her products, because you know what, they're not going to support her after her last launch. And does she deserve to be forgiven? I feel like she deserves to maybe not have this held against her for the rest of her life, but she definitely needs to take some accountability and make better choices and do the right thing. The whole scandal aside, I'm reviewing the highlighters today. I didn't get all the pieces, but I got what I could get. Let's talk about the pieces I bought and their pricing. So when I was purchasing the products, I wanted to get the duos that come with the product and the brush, just because I didn't want to get everything separately and I wanted to actually see how her brushes were. So the first duo I got was obviously the very anticipated product in this whole launch, was the Jaclyn Hill Accent Highlighter Palette. Now, this palette retails on its own for $49 US. This palette in Canadian would be $64. That's quite pricey, I'm not gonna lie. For the actual accent bundle kit, like with the brush, the JO2, it was $59 for the palette and the brush. And then the equivalent to that in Canadian would be $77. Some could argue it's a brush and a full-on highlighter kit from more of a prestige brand. I don't know if you would put Jaclyn Hill in a prestige, but it's definitely prestige products, and that wasn't shade at all. It's just, you know, like when I think of prestige, I'm thinking of Lancome, Guerlain, you know, Fenty Beauty. But even Fenty Beauty, like for being like a more of a luxury beauty brand, the gloss bomb is like $23 Canadian. Some of it's like pretty affordable compared to some other drugstore products like L'Oreal, that some of their glosses in Canada are $16. So yeah. And I forgot to mention the JO2 brush that comes with the duo on its own is $24 US and then $31 Canadian. We'll talk about the brushes, but that is absurd. Anyways, moving on to the other duo I got. So then I got the Moodlight Duo. So this is more of that luminous setting powder that she has. It's a highlighter, but she kind of uses it to set her face, and it's supposed to be a very sheer glowy powder that you can set your face with. For just the powder, it comes to $32 in US and $42 Canadian. So for the Moodlight Duo, it came to $49 US and $51 Canadian with the brush and the product. If you want the JO1 brush it comes with, it is $20 US and $26 Canadian just by itself. Anyways, the packaging of the actual products, I really do like it. Like, it is actually nice. I got the shade The Flash, the lighter one. So it comes in there. Let's pop that out. Finally can get rid of all that packaging. I've had these products for a week and I've been using them for a week, and I'm just like, I have to save it for the video and then bye-bye. This is the palette. The actual quality of the whole packaging, this is sturdy. It kind of reminds me of the Becca packaging in terms of quality, so that's good at least. Like, if you're charging me a lot of money, this needs to be nice and sturdy. You know what I mean? But anyways, you have the 4 highlighters there and a big mirror, which is great. Appreciate that. And then, as you can see, my cap is all dirty and disgusting, but this is the Moodlight powder. I really like the packaging on this, like the frosted kind of jar, and then you have her name on the front. This kind of reminds me of the La Mer setting powder, so I like the packaging look of that. Her packaging, A+. It looks good, and honestly, it really represents her and her style. Shipping wise, it was $10 for the shipping, and then also it took 11 days to get to my house, so that's not too bad. Honestly, I thought it was going to be maybe 2 full weeks, a little bit longer, so that's pretty good. So now after the product breakdown, we're actually going to go in and try these products on and kind of give you my thoughts. So as you can see, I'm looking a little one-dimensional today. I haven't put on bronzer, blush, or anything because I still need to set my face. I bought this powder because I wanted a really nice luminous setting powder. I have the Laura Mercier, but I find that it's just more highlighter-y and it's very yellow, so I don't know, I wanted something just to set but give me a nice glow. So I was really excited for this one, honestly. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm very disappointed in this product, just for the simple fact that this makes my makeup look cakey. The foundation I'm currently wearing today is actually what I've been using for the past like 2 months, and the foundation is the Clarins Everlasting Youth Fluid, and I love it. Like, it keeps my face hydrated, plump, especially like women with more fine lines and texture. This is a great one to use, and also has some skincare benefits in it. Anyways, I've set that foundation with my Maybelline Fit Me, and I never have any problems. Like, no cakiness, no bunching up. I never have like my lines shown, but the one day I set it with this, especially when I set it with my beauty blender, which is how she does it with a wet beauty blender, and you really push that product in and then spray it down, even after spraying it, it just left my face so cakey. I actually have a picture I'm going to insert. I think I wore that product for, I'd say, 5 hours, and it started to look like that. And to be fair, I blowed my nose too, but you could tell around like my mouth, it just started to get cakey, and it's a no-go. But I found when I set my face with a brush, it wasn't as bad, but it still was kind of cakey, and I felt like the powder stuck to areas, and it wasn't like a smooth, seamless set. You know what I mean? That my Maybelline Fit Me provides. So I was kind of really disappointed on that. I'm gonna set my face on camera just to show you guys. I got the shade Brighten Up, and I like this shade really because it doesn't, for a peachy color, sometimes they show up really dark on my skin, or sometimes they'll oxidize and it's like, oh great, I look like Donald Trump and a carrot together. So this one was pretty seamless, honestly, in terms of the color, but it just caked up easily. And I like to kind of do a light dust, and that's my thing too. I don't go full on and like bake it. I just do a light dust because, you know, I have more of a drier skin type, so I don't need that full cake, trust me. I found this powder was beautiful like the first hour, and then after, once you really wear your makeup, especially when I was at work running around grabbing people their Chanel perfumes and their Smashbox lipsticks, it was, I'm sweating a lot. So it just wore out really badly, I'm not gonna lie. But it gives like a really pretty glow, it just doesn't wear. Like, as you can see, it kind of blurs the skin, and it just gives like a gloss of luminosity, and it looks great at first application. It's just durability, it's not there. It doesn't really wear well, and then it does cake. So now I'm going to put some bronzer and blush, and then we're going to go in with the Flash palette after, and I'll give you my thoughts on that in the application. So that's some bronzer and blush on my face. I use the Fenty bronzer and the Charlotte Tilbury blush. Now, the Flash palette. this was the item I noticed a lot of people were wanting to get. And it makes sense because this palette is really beautiful and you have such a nice variety of colors for the highlighters. They also have the Flare palette, which was so gorgeous. I kind of wanted to get that one too, but I withheld. These are baked highlighters and I do enjoy them. Now this palette kind of reminds me of her first face palette with Becca, like that one released, which I love. This is probably one of my makeup items in my collection. Like out of all the pieces I've used, this is probably one that will always stand out to me that I loved so much. And that's when I first was really getting into makeup. And this to me was just everything. Clearly now I haven't used this in a while because I have my other products. And this released like 2-3 years ago. It's beaten and bruised, but it kind of reminds me of that idea. Like even the heaviness of the palettes, just the feel of them, kind of feel the same. Sorry, I think Jaclyn Hill is holding on to Becca in terms of their packaging, but in terms of formula and the texture, I actually really do like the highlighters and they do show up. Like after I've been working for 8 hours, I still have that nice glow. Not as intensely as when I first put it on. The palette formula kind of reminded me of the Anastasia Beverly Hills and the Amarizi highlighter, like that baked jelly texture. I'll be doing a swatch comparison of certain highlighters to this palette. Out of these colors, the ones I used probably the most would be Gleam and Iced, especially Iced. I feel like right now with my skin tone, Iced is looking the best on me, and if I want something really to pop on my cheeks, I'll use Gleam. Sparks, I'm not a fan of. I don't really like yellow highlighters. I want it to, it's so weird because I really like a gold, but when it's like a really pale yellow like that, I feel like on me, it's just not flattering. On other people, it looks great, but on myself, not so much. I also been using a lot of Mesmerized because it kind of gives like a rose gold, but it's not straight up pink on your cheeks because I don't like pink on myself either. It looks great on everyone else, but I find on me, I get that big stripe. And that's another thing too. I don't like a very stripy highlighter. I felt like when I first got this, I was kind of scared that it was not going to blend nicely into the skin. But I find that when you kind of build the highlighter and you spray it down, you get more of a nice seamless kind of glow instead of, oh my god, it's just there on my cheek and it's sitting there. I hate the frosted highlighter stripe on the cheek. It's just not a look. I want to look wet all over in that juicy highlighted look without being like, here's my highlight. Right here. It's not blending, it looks chalky, that kind of vibe. But what I'm going to use today is I'm going to use Iced, the one I was talking about. I'm going to apply that one on my cheek. So I kind of like to start it off over here. Like just as first application, it has like that really pretty glossy kind of shimmery finish. I wouldn't say it's very sparkly in the sense of a glitter, but it definitely has that strong shimmer that looks wet, you know what I mean? And usually to blend out like a highlighter too, I'll go after with my blush brush and a little bronzer and go on top of that highlighter so it looks more uniform. But that's Iced on that side. And that's without me spraying my skin. I've tried it as well too, spraying my face with the setting spray and then going with the highlighter. You get that intense wetness. So I'll do that on this side here. Just gonna put Iced all over. Like even like frontal, you can see that. Like you know what highlighter's intense? When you can see it frontal just on that cheek. Kick it up a notch with Gleam, and I'm gonna put Gleam just in that kind of center, just to be a little bit more extra. These pack a punch, and I feel like I've put a lot on that I'm getting that like stripe of highlighter look, but not as bad because I put it everywhere. So I'm gonna go over with my blush just to kind of blend it out. So now I'm going to move over to this side and I'm going to be using Sparks and Mesmerized on this one so you can get an idea of those two. So quickly, I'm going to spray my face with the Lila B Setting Mist. I know Jaclyn Hill likes this one, so I thought I would choose it for this video just because it makes sense to use that product if that's what she's describing to make more intense. I don't know, any setting spray will work. I just thought I'd bring out the expensive bougie one that is sadly very nice. So I'm going to spray my face. So I'm going to first go with Sparks, more of that yellowy highlighter shade. Definitely this side is a little bit brighter, those kind of shades, but it's just my skin tone and I think they're the lightest ones in the palette. Like you can see, the yellow I feel like doesn't complement me as much as the iced kind of shade with a tad bit of gleam, but I would just use iced on its own. Probably if I was a little bit more tan, maybe I would like sparks, but, or even if I was doing a very yellow golden look, maybe I would do that. So that's sparks on there. I'm gonna go now in with Mesmerize, which I've been really liking this. For rose gold, I'm not really so much a fan of it, but this one, I really like it in this palette. I feel like Mesmerized is kind of calming down Sparks on this side. So that one is Sparks and Mesmerized on that side, and this one's Gleam and Iced on this one. So you definitely get that wet look, but it doesn't look like, hi, I have full-on craft store glitter on me. Like, it's a nice kind of look. I feel like in the summer, this is especially gonna look great, and obviously for the holiday season. And I like highlighters like this one because I like looking greasy. Like, it's a nice kind of like greasy, glowy look, but not greasy in a bad way, but one where you're just like, wow, like that intense, beautiful, seamless, but still a crazy glow. Like, this is great. I would definitely recommend this palette either in the Flash or the Flare. The Flare is more targeted to medium deep. This one's medium to light. They're both really pretty. So now I'm kind of going to give you my review on the brushes. These brushes, I'm gonna be honest, they remind me of Morphe. I washed the J02, I didn't wash the J01, but I found as soon as I washed the J01, it didn't get so messed up, but definitely some of the hair started to peek out at the top. I'll insert pictures, and then it started to get a little frayed. Nothing intense. Like, I feel like after a couple more washes, maybe it'll start to get really kind of like frizzy, whatnot, but definitely these brushes lose their shape. When I compare them to my Smashbox brushes, that they're the exact same price when I convert the prices into Canadian, what I would pay for them. They're a much better quality, and I've had these brushes for 3 years, and I've washed them over 50 times, and never have I had a hair shed off these brushes. Never had I had them, like, the barrel come loose. It hasn't came loose on the Jaclyn Hill ones, but I don't know, I feel like they could potentially, or the hairs could get all messed up. They just, for the price, they don't feel more luxury than they should be, especially when you're charging a higher price. You know, I'd rather go to Morphe and probably buy a less inexpensive price and then be able to wash it all the time and then replace it with a new one. The brushes look really pretty, but that's just definitely upsetting to me. If you're looking to buy the brushes because you think they're really great, you probably could find dupes of this at the Morphe store. And speaking of the Morphe store as well, to add to this review. So she actually just released that all her holiday, like the highlighters, are going to be now in Morphe stores in the US. And this was, I think, maybe like a week and a half after her highlighters just released online, which I kind of thought was interesting. And I was a little disappointed. I was hoping that maybe she would just kind of keep it exclusive to like her website or something like that. Because when I always will think of Morphe being that really high variety, low price brand. So when you have something like this kind of palette that's like 60, 70 bucks for like a combo, it's quite a bit of money in a Morphe store. Do I feel like it devalues some of the products? Yes, I do. And you know what? Like, I wish she kind of stayed away from always being with Morphe, but obviously Morphe's probably paying her really good to feature her products in her store, and why would you not want more exposure? And it's nice now that the consumers can go into Morphe stores and feel out those palettes before they bite the bullet and spend a lot of money on the Jaclyn Hill holiday collection. So now I'm going to be showing you guys some swatches of the Jaclyn Hill Flash palette compared to some others in my collection, those including the Estee Lauder Bronze Goddess highlighter, some Kilowatt highlighters from Fenty, the Anastasia Amorisi highlighter, and then some Becca highlighters, just to kind of show you the textures and colors compared to the new Jaclyn Hill Flash palette, and maybe you have something similar to that in your collection or whatnot, just to see how they kind of work. Anyways, here are the swatches now. So we have the 4 Jaclyn Hill cosmetic highlighters in the Flash palette, Estee Lauder Bronzed Goddess, the ABH X Amorisi highlighter, the Fenty Kilowatt highlighter in Mean Money and Hustla Baby, and also the 2 Becca highlighters. The first one is Opal, the second one is Champagne Pop. The Jaclyn Hill ones are pretty pigmented, and just swatching them, I felt like the ABH and the Jaclyn Cosmetics ones were the most similar in formula. The Becca ones definitely were a little bit more of a creamier, thicker formula to swatch too. So that was some of the swatches. It's kind of interesting to compare, especially the Jaclyn Hill formula to Becca, because, you know, like they have quite a bit of a history with one another. But I definitely feel like the Becca formula is a little bit thicker and creamier than the Jaclyn Hill one, because it's more of that jelly light baked that you can really build up to have that wet look, versus the Becca, you get that like nice seamless wet look, but it's a little bit more creamier. You know what I mean? So my final thoughts on the Jaclyn Hill holiday collection. I feel like the only one I would really recommend to you guys would be the Accent Light palette. I really do like the highlighter formula. It's pretty unique to my collection. It does remind me of the ABH one quite a bit, but I like all the options and tones. Like you have like that yellow, which not my quite favorite on myself, but that mesmerized shades, the ice shade is my favorite. I don't have anything really like that. And the gleam shade is such a nice little topper just to put on the tops of the cheeks, and that's kind of it. So yeah, that's my final thoughts. You know, if you were wanting to get something from this collection and to support the brand, I definitely would say the Flash palette. But if you don't want to support the brand, then you're speaking their dollar, and good for you, because you know what I mean. Clearly I have no self-control. But realistically, I feel like there's a lot of brands in Sephora that have these bigger palettes, you know what I mean? If you don't want to spend the money to get it shipped to you, or if you're in a Morphe store, that's great to pick up. But definitely this is a high price item, you know what I mean? When I think of like spending like 60 something bucks on a highlighter palette, I think of Hourglass, or I think of like Becca themselves, or Laura Mercier, or maybe Marc Jacobs, or something like that. Not so much Jaclyn Hill. You can see the qualities built in this palette, so I'm not as upset, but it's still like, it's a high price for a highlighter palette. Anyways, guys, that's kind of my final thoughts and the end of the video here. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed the highlighter review. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And as well, like I said, I'm still doing my giveaway till the 21st of December. So if you want to enter, you can do so. I'll have it linked in my bio. But like I always say, sub it if you love it. I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye. Brows are uneven like usual. Here on the Kim Santos channel, I don't do brow tutorials, because I don't want to leave the population with screwed up eyebrows like mine. Guys, I swear, in person, they look much better than what they do on camera. Brows are not supposed to be twins. They're sisters, okay? Maybe very distant sisters, but they're still sisters. Please stay back hair. Thank you. Okay. It is what it is, man. I look like a Shih Tzu dog with a bow on my head. I look like one of Jaclyn Hill's Shih Tzus with this hair. Like, oh boy. I kinda wish I was one of Jaclyn Hill's Shih Tzus. They probably have the best life ever. You know. Honestly, when you want to be a dog, you know your life's kind of hit rock bottom.